Hey, what's going on, y'all? So I just wanted to take you on a tour through Google Analytics real quick. This is a very useful tool that will give you a lot of insight as to what's going on with your website. The amount of traffic, where the traffic is coming from, where the traffic is on your website, other things your visitors might like. So, you might see opportunities where you could get in front of them, where segments are that you might be able to grab new people. You can see right now we're doing basically a month from December the 18th to January 17th. So as you can see, like even here on this home page, you can look over here to the number of sessions on each website, the time, the average amount of time spent there. The bounce rate is the percentage of visitors that came to the site and then left without clicking through to anything else. And, obviously you see all of these websites. I can't spend with so much time on all of them. You see with these 60 visitors in a month, this is the bounce rate at 6.67. So that means that 94 or 93.33% of the people hung around here for a good while. The average amount of time on the site is 4 minutes. And so that's real good bounce rate. This one is 82%. That's a high bounce rate. And as you can see, the length of time on the site is 46 seconds. And that's very bad. And this is almost the same number of sessions. And so Google takes that into account when it determines whether or not to allow whatever. Well, if the reason that you're getting this traffic is from search and people are coming to your site and the bounce rate is high and the length of time on your site is low, then whatever showed up in the search to give you these visitors, that's going to go down if you don't do something to correct the length of time on the site and the high bounce rate. You see? So that's why this information is important, because it gives you insight, and then you know what corrective action you might need to take, or how or where you need to make improvements so that you have better results. Because basically what this is an indicator of is user satisfaction. You see? And so Google's objective is to give the user the best experience. And this is a poor experience for the user. This, on the other hand, is a good experience for the user. So the keywords, if it's keywords, now it could be referral traffic, and we'll look at all of that in a second. But if it's a result of search terms, then the search terms that allow the traffic to come to the site will continue to rank well, because obviously the people are getting what they expected when they clicked on the link that showed up in the search. See how that works? So let's go down to the site that I actually spend time working on. Again, you see the bounce rate. This is 77%. But the time on the site is a little higher, a minute and 51 seconds. Now we can get into this a little bit. And what you'll find is that a combination of things. 39,000 sessions. And as you'll see, there are thousands of pages on this site. So, and because there are links from the pages to other pages, then, and this is garbage here, but, and also AdSense, then just because people are leaving that page or the amount of time on the site is low and the bounce is a little higher, it's not all bad. because people might see an ad that's relevant to what they're there for and they're clicking through. By the way, let's look at some other data. As you can see here, returning visitors are 18% and new visitors are 81%. That's in the blue. Now let's look at some more information here. Well, let's go up here. Let's start at the, why not start at the top, right? This is real time. This is what's happening in real time right now. So right now there are 7 people on the site. It's 8 p.m., 8:18 p.m. You can see there are 8 people on the site right now. You can see what pages they are on. Disadvantages of becoming a trucker, how to get experience, HUD transportation, person needs to rent a truck, crude oil, tools and equipment, Western Express, what type of drug test CR England do, will I lose my CDL? And if you can't read everything that's here, then you just hover over it and let it sit, and then you can see what that link says. This one is worried about marijuana card. Lose my marijuana card at the same time. Who knows? Now it's 12 people on the site. But everyone that's in the U.S. looks like right now. You have Cleveland, Richmond, Mount Laurel, Chicago representing, Atlanta representing. Easier just to click on it and see instead of trying to hover over that. Atlanta, Baton Rouge, Branson, I don't know what that is, Chicago, Cleveland, Cypress, Detroit, Houston, Mount Laurel, Richmond, Springfield, Tampa, Washington, Woodstock. And you can see how they got to the site when you look at the traffic sources. 14 now. And all of the people that are here right now came as a result of search engines. You got Yahoo, Bing, and Google. Well, not all of them. 3 came as a directly putting the name, the domain name into the bar. So now we can come down to the audience. So this is not necessarily going to be real time. This is going to be over that 30-day period. That's the overview, active users. It's 1 day. Demographics, you can see the demographics. So as you can see, 74% male, 26% female. You can see the age group, 25 to 34 represents the highest number of people. And then you got 35 to 44, and 45 to 40 to 54, and 18 to 24. So that information might be useful to you. And then the interest, that gives you insight because you see other things that the people who are on your site like. And so if any one of these categories was much larger than the rest of them, then that might be somewhere that you can advertise in to grab other people who might also like to visit your website. And of course over here you see employment and the in-market segment. And the affinity category represents people who are at the higher end of the funnel, meaning they're not necessarily ready to buy if you had a product or ready to get a job. In my case, since we're talking about trucking, but over here the people are at the lower end of the funnel. So employment, they are seeking jobs, you see, and if it was a product, they are ready to buy. So that's the main difference between in-market segment and affinity category. Then you can look at the geography to get an idea of where people are coming from. As you can see, United States represents the highest number of sessions, then Canada, UK, India, Australia, Russia, Germany, South Africa, China, Nigeria. And if you look over here, you can see that there are 141 different entries, which not said, I don't know what that is, but you can see that people of all over the world are on the website. Now, we can come over here further and you can see, again, the bounce rate. And here is the total number of sessions. And over here, then you'll see the number of new users. So in this case, you see that there are people from Indonesia that haven't just stumbled upon it, but have returned to the site. So that's interesting. And you see the amount of time that they spent, the average amount of time, 2 minutes for Indonesia. So there's certain aspects of trucking that appeals universally. And of course, the bounce rate. So Indonesia is not too much different than the United States bounce rate. But when you come here, the people from Vietnam that's coming, they are bouncing at a lot higher rate. And people in Spain are actually staying at a much better rate. Belgium, they're bouncing at a higher rate. So let's go to behavior. And you see new versus returning, which we already really saw that. Acquisition, that's very insightful. Acquisition means how you acquire the traffic that's at your site. You can see 77% is from organic search, 18% direct. And you can click on that to get more details. Now, this is obviously useful information. You can see within the social that Pinterest is the top referrer. Now, I've only recently began to use Pinterest. So that tells you how powerful Pinterest is as far as getting traffic. And less than half of the pictures that I'm using on Pinterest are actually my pictures. So this traffic is going to increase greatly when I start putting more of my own pictures from the site up there and actually try more aggressively to grow traffic. Because right now, I'm not even following people or anything because, you know, my Pinterest page is not presentable. But still, it's sending more people to the site than Facebook. But look over here. The amount of time that they're spending on the site from Pinterest is pitiful. Facebook is not all that good either. But Pinterest is even worse. And Twitter, on the other hand, people are staying there 3 minutes longer than from the other two. And Google Plus is a lot better than that. 12 minutes on average they're spending on the site. So that's interesting. From LinkedIn, 5 minutes. And I don't even know what Crunchyroll is, but they're not spending any time there. Now we go ahead to referrals. Again, you see Pinterest. That M means that this is the mobile. This is coming from mobile. DuckDuckGo, I think that's the China search engine. Then Twitter. This is the hosting dashboard. So basically that's me. Snyder Trucking. So then you have websites coming up as well. As you can see, there's 134 different entries for the source. As you can see, It's 1,240 entries for this. Being a truck driver, we're on the list of trucking companies that take criminal background. 3 years old that take criminal. See, some of my pages, I got a lot of user generated content. So I have the pages set up so that they can submit questions and they can comment on stuff that I've written. So you'll see a lot of these long page titles, and like even some of the shorter ones. This is stuff that people are asking. What is a maxi trailer? What is it like being a truck driver? 53-foot trailer weight distribution. And most of these are ranking because I have pages with this name or similar to this name. If you look at Search Console and you look at the landing pages, then that's going to tell you the actual page. What we looked at before was the keywords or the title, page titles that got them there. This is the actual page that they came to. So this page is trucking career questions. And there's going to be a lot of different questions on this page. So a lot of different titles are bringing them back to the website, but they're coming back to this one page. As you can see, this is the highest visited page right here. And this is linked to right here from the home page. So with a combination of it being on the home page and a lot of the what's called long tail keywords bringing people in as questions are asked on this page, then it's the most popular page. And then the next most popular is another page in which people are able to ask questions. So like I said, you see both of these pages in which people are able to ask questions are getting the most traffic. But there's a catch-22. The volume of content on those two pages helps it to rank in one way, but on the other hand, it waters down what the keywords are. So that's why you see here is the position of the page in the search results. And this is only a 16 when you talk about where the page ranks for this. Well, this is actually where the page ranks for as an average of all of the reasons that it ranks. So it might be ranking for 50 different terms, and the average out of all of those terms is only 16. But think about it. That's because 50 different terms, then it's not very focused. So another page where was more controlled, say only content that I generated, it might rank 1, 2, or 3. Same as with this one. This was 21. So it's going to rank, again, these are long tail keywords. So it's going to be a lot of different things that shows up over there in the #1 spot. If we click on landing page, then that will tell us what page people landed on when they got to the site. Good Diet Plan is up there at the top. And some of the other ones, this is the root, lifeisaTrucker.com, the cattle page, trucker question page, disadvantages, weight distribution. So if you know this, so like since I know that a Good Diet Plan is a very popular page, then I might want to alter what's happening at that page. Like I might want to make sure that there is Google AdSense at the top of this page, or maybe I want to promote a product that is related to a diet plan, since this is a high traffic page. Or if I'm going to sell advertising space directly to someone who has a product, then I can get an idea of what I should be charging based on how popular that page is compared to other less visited pages. Like disadvantages of becoming a trucker, but that's visited half as much as a good diet plan. This can tell you something too. So see, I clicked on exit pages. If I see that a good diet plan was a landing page and it is also at the top of the exit pages, and the number is close to the number of people on the landing page, then maybe I need to figure out what I can do to have people on that page for a longer length of time. So if it wasn't the case that there is a lot of links on this page and that there are opportunities for them to click on other things, then that would alarm me that something is wrong. They're getting on that page and they're leaving the whole site from this page. But I know that there are links to many other pages here. You see, you got AdSense there. You got links to other pages here. You got Amazon products there. Now, we're not getting into this right now, but as you can see, the Amazon products are related to diet. And you don't have to do anything to make this happen. You just put the code on the site. The code will figure that out for itself. But you see, all of these are opportunities for someone to click off the site. The page, I mean. So I hope this kind of like give y'all an idea of what Google Analytics can do for you. And we're going to end it right here. Now, all you will need to do is after creating your account, let's put this tracking code in the head section of your website. In the head section, so that it goes to every page. And then you'll get this information fed back to you. Okay, you guys, I am sleepy. That's it.